Hey guys, welcome back to my Fmod walkthrough for my Castle Lovers project, which is a nice fun phone game. If you haven't seen my first video, you probably should check that out where I run you through my music. But in this video, I'm going to be walking you through some of my events, my interactions, button presses, and my dialogue as well. So the game is based off a time cycle. So you have the day cycle and the night cycle. During the day, you events happen and they get triggered throughout your kingdom randomly. You speak to your citizens and they'll ask you things. So, like building a hunting ground, or a jester will walk up to you and ask for a nice place where they can perform, or a farmer will walk up to you and ask for a farmer. So, with these, there are different interactions, there's different dialogues, and there's different events throughout the day. Some of the events that can play, which I'll walk you through first. There are you can build buildings. Buildings can collapse. There can be danger in your kingdom. Donations, harvests, postings, everything that you can see there can happen during your game. A lot of these are one shots. Some of these are multi instruments, depending on how much inspiration I got to make different attempts, or if it sounded like it would get really annoying over and over and over again. Luckily, there are plenty of events to choose from, so none of them are too repetitive, and they get spread out during the days. So, this was a fun little sound design challenge because it was entirely up to me as to what they would sound like. Um, I recorded Foley for these with a friend of mine called Ryan, and then I took away the Foley sessions, chopped them all up, edited them, and added some bits and pieces here. So it was a fun little sound design challenge, and I'll run you through what I made. So the first one is building buildings or getting buildings repaired, and there are 4 different instances of this. All pretty similar, but they all have different timings and slightly different instruments. Well, not instruments, but different effects used within them. So this is a combination of sawing wood, dropping a pile of wood that we had in the studio, and banging on wood with a hammer as well. There's plenty of reverb to make it sound like they're working in a town square. And if you give it another listen, you can hear it kind of ring out, which has a really nice effect to it. Next one is a building collapse, which I'll play for you. So this was a mix of the creak is some rubber that we were squeaking, and then I stretched that a long way, which I might end up showing you guys in our Pro Tools session. So that got stretched a lot, so it sounded like wooden creaking. Then I had some rubble falling, which we just dropped some bricks and stuff in rocks. And then I had to find an explosion online to add a big boom as it actually hit the ground. And then we have more wood drops and some nice reverb as well. So again, that was fun to make. The next one is for when your kingdom's in danger and it's being invaded. So I added a bell. There's some horns that play, which was just some MIDI horns, and yeah, have a listen. Nice and simple, kind of retro with the horn. Sounds very pixelated, but I like it. And that the bell is actually me hitting a thermos that I have, so that was fun to manipulate. The next one is a donation.
Oh, okay.
Which is just some coin drops that we recorded during the day, and me doing some silly voices. Throughout the rest of them, there's quite a lot to go through. There's the festival, which was some instruments, a crowd that I recorded when I happened to be in a pretty busy place in the city, and just some MIDI instruments I played around with. A good deed, which is just a MIDI choir and a harp using the same theme as the festival. Harvest, which was us digging around in dirt. I bit crushed it, and then again me making silly voices. Yeah. A plague, which was fun to do, which I've talked about in a blog of mine, but I found some rats squeaking. I didn't actually find them. I went online to get some rats squeaking, and then Ryan and I coughed through the studio to add some distance and also some close coughs, which really adds to the scale of that event. There's a public posting, so like someone hammering a nail into a wood with a sign on it. And then me murmuring. There's when raiders invade your kingdom. Which again is me doing silly voices. There's when something sad happens, which is a silly trombone. There's a bad smell, which is quite quiet in the mix, so I need to find a way to bump that up. There's a thief stealing your stuff. That was us playing with a lock that we had in the C24 and a nice click to sound like it actually unlocking. Tourism, which I need to come back to.
Yes.
Because tourism is more of a concept than an event. But I just added some pouring some wine into a glass and then tinging it, and then some posh voices. And these are some new ones that I made for the times of day. So there's obviously morning, midday, and nighttime. The midday one is just a clock tower ringing. And there's another one. The morning one is a rooster. And of course the nighttime is crickets and an owl. And final one is when you get upgrades within your kingdom, which is a really nice hammer and anvil. And of course the sizzling as you put the hot metal in the water. Those are the events that play. Once they're happening in the game, then I'll make sure that I put that in. But the thing that I had the most amount of trouble with was getting the sound effects into the scene without the music completely drowning it out. One thing I didn't know about Fmod, and something I never really worked with before, were making buses and using sidechain compression to actually allow some sound effects to pop through the music or take priority over others. I thought it was a really simple thing. And after a few tutorials, it's not too bad. So hopefully I can walk you through how to do it as well. Games use this all the time without you even thinking about it. And it's actually a really, really good technique to know if you ever work on a game. Even if it's really, really small and you just have a few sound effects and music. Adding sidechain compression can really help things pop through scenes. So let me open up my mix window here. You can see that I've made a group for the sound effects, which has all my miscellaneous sound effects, all my dialogues, which I'll get to soon, and of course all my events as well. And then in the music group, there's the simple music. So what I've ended up doing, and let me just make another one. Oh, sorry, let me get these in separate windows. So there's a new event editor, which I'll add over here. So when you have the music playing, which you can hear, it's on the other screen. And let me just turn it down a little bit so it's not too loud. There we go. Okay, so as the music's playing, you can see here that I've added a compressor to the music group, which is right here. So I've set the threshold to about -25 dB, yada yada yada, ratio. If you're not sure how a compressor works, there's a bit of a science to it. Basically, it limits your dynamic range. But this one isn't set to work off how loud the music is. It's set to sidechain off how loud the sound effects are. So to do this, you just need to make sure that you tick the sidechain on button, and then you go to the group that you want to sidechain it, or you could even do it on separate events, and you right click on the fader and you insert a sidechain, and then you attach it to whatever compressor or whatever effect you want it to work on. So I've already attached it here. This is my sidechain. So if we keep the mix window, oh, excuse me, and the music plays, and then we open up our mix window, you can see that as an event plays, you get volume into the sidechain, which then actually affects, sorry, let me make this a little bit bigger. You can actually see the reduction happening when this plays. Sorry, let me just move this over here so you can focus on it. So if you watch this bar, you'll see the reduction in the music, and you can hear it as well. So that allows the events to pop through more. So when events play, the music gets ducked down and the event is able to play and be heard. Obviously, the louder the effect of the event, then the quieter the music gets, because it's an equal response, which is really, really cool when you want people to focus on the cool little sound design aspects that you put in your game rather than getting drowned out. So when you have quiet events, maybe like the plague, you can hear it more than if you bypassed this. You can still see that it's quite drowned out by the music. And then again, I've turned down the music. So if we turn that back to 0, you can barely hear anything over the music and the sound effects. But when we unbypass this, the music gets stuck enough that you can hear it. So that is a really quick overview of some of the sound effects that I made for this game, and also a really quick tutorial on how to get your events and your sound effects to actually pop through the music. Next time, my next video, I'm going to be running you through all of my dialogue. There's a few stories there, some mistakes that I want to talk to you about, and hopefully you can learn from. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.